altruistic followers and genuine winners. I presume you and your beloved are hale and healthy. It is social activist become good-hearted preacher Professor S. Suresh back with sheer ecstasy. My 119th video on unveil of publication on YouTube today, 22nd December 2020, Tuesday. The topic for today is food adulteration in India and its undesirable effects on health. An adulterant is a substance found within other substances such as food, cosmetics, pharmaceuticals, fuel, or other chemicals that compromise the safety or effectiveness of said substance. It will not normally be present in any specification or declared contents of the substance and may not be legally allowed. The addition of adulterants is called adulteration. The most common reason for adulteration is the use by manufacturers of undeclared materials that are cheaper than the correct undeclared ones. The adulterants may be harmful or reduce the potency of the product, or they may be harmless. The term contamination is usually used for the inclusion of unwanted substances due to accident or negligence rather than intent, and also for the introduction of unwanted substances after the product has been made. Adulteration therefore implies that the adulterant was introduced deliberately in the initial manufacturing process, or sometimes that it was present in the raw materials and should have been removed, but was not. An adulterant is distinct from, for example, permitted food preservatives. There can be a fine line between adulterant and additive. Chicory may be added to coffee to reduce the cost or achieve a desired flavor. This is adulteration if not declared, but may be stated on the label. Chalk was often used to bread flour. This reduces the cost and increases the whiteness, but the calcium actually confers health benefits. And in modern bread, a little chalk may be included as an additive for this reason. In wartime, adulterants have been added to make foodstuffs go further and prevent shortages. The German brand Ersatz is widely recognized from such practices during World War II. Such adulteration was sometimes deliberately hidden from the population to prevent loss of morale and propaganda reasons. Some goods considered luxurious in the Soviet bloc, such as coffee, were adulterated to make them affordable to the general population. Past and present examples of adulterated food sometimes dangerous include apple jellies, jams as substitutes for more expensive fruit jellies with added colorant, and sometimes even specks of wood that simulate raspberry or strawberry seeds. High fructose corn syrup or cane sugar used to adulterate honey. Red ochre soaked brown bread to give the appearance of beef sausage for sausage roll filling. Roasted chicory rolls used as an adulterant for coffee. Water for diluting milk and alcoholic beverages. Water brine injected into chicken, pork, or other meats to increase the weight. Urea, melamine, and other non-protein nitrogen sources added to protein products to inflate crude protein content measurements. Adulteration is a legal term meaning that a food product fails to meet the legal standards. One form of adulteration is an addition of another substance to a food item in order to increase the quantity of food item in raw form or prepared form, which may result in the loss of actual quality of food item. These substances may be either available food items or non-food items. Among meat and meat products, some of the items are used to adulterate are water or ice, carcasses of animals other than the usual animal meant to be consumed. Generally, if a food contains poisonous or deleterious substance that may render it injurious to health, it is considered to be adulterated. For example, apple cider contaminated with E. coli. 0157 to H7. First, if the poisonous substance is inherent or naturally occurring and its quantity in the food does not ordinarily render it injurious to health, the food will not be considered adulterated. As a food that contains a natural toxin at very low levels that would not ordinarily be harmful, for instance, small amounts of amygdalin in apricot kernels, is not adulterated. Second, if the poisonous or deleterious substance is unavoidable and is within an established tolerance, regulatory limit, or action limit, the food will not be deemed to be adulterated. Tolerances and regulatory limits are thresholds above which a food will be considered adulterated. They are binding on FDA, the food industry, and the courts. Action levels are limits at or above which FDA may regard food as adulterated. They are not binding on FDA. FDA has established numerous action levels, for example, 1 part per million methyl mercury in fish, which are set forth in its booklet action levels for poisonous or deleterious substances in human food and animal feed. If a food contains a poisonous substance in excess of a tolerance, regulatory limit, or action level, mixing it with the clean food to reduce the level of contamination is not allowed. The deliberate mixing of adulterated food with a good food renders a finished product adulterated. Filth and extraneous material include any objectionable substances in foods, such as foreign matter, for example, glass, metal, plastic, wood, stones, and sand, cigarette butts, undesirable parts of the raw plant material, such as stems, pits in pitted olives, pieces of shell in canned oysters, and filth, namely mold, rot, insect, and rodent parts, excrete, or decomposition. Any amount of filth in a food would render it adulterated. The food is adulterated if it omits a valuable constituent or substitutes another substance in whole or in part for a valuable constituent. For instance, olive oil is diluted with a tea tree oil, conceals damage to or inferiority in any manner, such as fresh fruit with food coloring on its surface to conceal the defects, or any substance has been added to it or packed with it to increase its bulk or weight, reduce its quality or strength, or make it appear bigger or greater value than it is. For example, scallops to which water has been added to make them heavier. The fact that a food is contaminated with pathogens, harmful microorganisms such as bacteria, viruses, or protozoa may or may not render it adulterated. Generally, for ready-to-eat foods, the presence of pathogens will render the food adulterated. For example, the presence of salmonella on fresh fruits or vegetables or in ready-to-eat meat or poultry products, such as luncheon meats, will render those products adulterated. Among man's everyday needs, food plays a major sustaining role. From a simple dish to the most elaborate art cuisine, food preparation is as varied and rich as man's taste. The allure of riches and general apathy towards mankind has led to adulterants being added to food from the simple stones in rice to the more harmful brick and boric powder. Adulteration of food, commonly defined as the addition or subtraction of any substance or from food, so that the natural composition and quality of food substance is affected. Adulteration is either intentional or by either removing substances to food or altering the existing natural properties of food knowingly. Unintentional adulteration is usually attributed to ignorance, carelessness, or lack of facilities for maintaining food quality. Incidental contamination during the period of growth, harvesting, storage, processing, transport, and distribution of foods are also considered. Adulterant means any material which is or could be employed for making the food unsafe or substandard or misbranded or containing extraneous matter. Food is declared adulterated if a substance is added which depreciates or injuriously affects. Cheaper or inferior substances are substituted wholly or in part. Any valuable or necessary constituent has been wholly or in part abstracted. It is an imitation. It is colored or otherwise treated to improve its appearance, or if it contains any added substance injurious to it. For whatever reasons, its quality is below the standard. Adulterated food is dangerous because it may be toxic and can affect the health, and it could deprive nutrients essential for proper growth and development. Some of the common adulterated foods are milk and milk products, wheat flour, edible oils, cereals, condiments, whole and ground, pulses, coffee, tea, confectionery, baking powder, non-alcoholic beverages, vinegar, besan, and curry powder. Types of adulterants are intentional adulterants, sand, marble chips, stones, mud, mother filth, salt, chalk foods, chalk powder, water, mineral oil, and harmful color. Incidental adulterants, pesticide residues, droppings of rodents, larvae in foods. Metallic contaminants, arsenic from pesticides, lead from water, effluent from chemical industry, steam from cans. Generally, if a food contains a poisonous or deleterious substance, they may render it injurious to health. It is adulterated. Dry cheese contaminated with listeria monocytogenes is adulterated. If a food contains a poisonous substance in excess of the tolerance, regulatory limit, or action level, Mixing it with plain food to reduce the level of contamination is not allowed. The deliberate mixing of adulterated food with good food, plain food to reduce the good food renders the finished product adulterated. Filth and extraneous material include any objectionable substances in foods, as I said before. The fact that a food is contaminated with pathogens, harmful microorganisms such as bacteria, viruses, or protozoa may or may not render it adulterated. Generally, for ready-to-eat foods, the presence of pathogens will render the food adulterated. For example, the presence of salmonella on fresh fruits or vegetables or in ready-to-eat meat or poultry products such as luncheon meats will render those products adulterated. Ready-to-eat meat and poultry products contaminated with the pathogens such as salmonella, listeria, monocytogenes are adulterated. For raw meat or poultry products, the presence of pathogens will not always render the product adulterated. Food adulteration is a punishable offense in India. We had laws governing the same from the past itself. The Prevention of Food Adulteration Act was passed in 1954. However, this act was repealed by the Food Safety and Standard Act passed by the Parliament in 2006. Penalties and punishments are imposed based on the seriousness of the offence. One can get 3 months to 6 years imprisonment with monetary penalties if the offence is serious. Even though we have proper laws in our country, people still do food adulteration. Reasons for it is that they can bribe the officers even if caught on caught can come out with the help of a good lawyer and so on. This system has to be changed and the laws have to be implemented without any bias. Adulteration is done in every possible product so that the profit can be maximized. People are so money minded that they do not think about the health of their fellow citizens. In India, mostly adulteration is found in milk, ghee, vegetable oil, masala powders and spices, ice creams, honey, coffee and tea leaves, flour and food grains, sweets, etc. Apart from these products, grape wines, juices of fruits, etc. are adulterated in most of the countries. The below list will make you understand the adulterants used in different products. Use of list of food item adulterant follows: milk, water, ghee, vanaspati, ice cream, washing powder, chili powder, brick powder, coffee, tamarind, date seed, honey, molasses, sugar. Sugar, chalk powder, dusty, sawdust, mutton, dog meat, chicken, crow or other meat, bread meat, besides wax coating on fruits, especially apples, so that it looks very shiny. Silver foil paper, pig fat on sweets, mixing finely ground fish shell, the masala prepared for deep frying of snacks so that it is crispy, metallic compounds with the metallic masala powders to enhance the color, etc. Earlier, people used to grow, grow food items they require in the courtyard or field itself, and almost every spice, masala powder, or dish was made at home itself. In food adulteration was not there, and so are the issues and effects associated with it. Today, all of us are busy and we depend upon instantly made food items. First of all, food is adulterated, and if we buy these packed food items which contain preservatives, it is definitely going to harm us. Food adulteration increases impurity in the food items, thus making it imperfect to consume. Consumption of adulterated food for long will have both short-term and long-term impact on our health. Why do we have to buy impure and poor quality stuff by paying our hard-earned money? Impure food is unsafe to consume, so it is better to produce stuff as far as possible, or to get stuff from organic centers or directly from the farmers. Adulterated food is of low quality and has no or very less nutritional values. Also, certain adulterated food has a different taste too. By purchasing and consuming adulterated food, we are compromising on our health and taste. To stay away from these and to have nutritional food for our family, we need to start working. Create a small vegetable garden on your balcony or terrace so that you can have some fresh products. Due to the consumption of adulterated food, we can get various chronic diseases like liver disorder, diarrhea, stomach disorder, legalism, cancer, vomiting, dysentery, cancer, joint pain, heart diseases, and food poisoning, etc. The minerals, chemicals, and poor quality substances added to food are responsible for these health conditions which we might have to undergo in future. Some adulterated foods can even lead to abortion or brain damage. Young children consuming adulterated food for long will have issues in conceiving. Hormonal injections administered to chicken to make them gain weight faster leads to girls attaining puberty when they are hardly 8 to 9 years old. They might not always get the time to check whether the food product is adulterated due to our busy lives. Also, it is not easy to find food adulteration in certain cases. What I suggest is it is better to check and test the food for adulterants as far as possible, as it has a direct impact on our health. Let us see some tips and tricks to find out adulterants in certain food items. Milk. Pour a small drop of milk in a slanting surface. See whether the drop leaves a white trail. If so, it is pure milk, and if there is no white trail, you can be sure that it is adulterated. Ice cream. The main adulterant used in ice cream is washing soda. And is add a few drops of lemon juice to it. If it starts to froth, then it indicates the presence of washing soda in the ice cream. Sugar. To find out whether chalk powder is added to the sugar, take a clear glass of water and add a spoon of sugar to it. Unadulterated sugar will sink to the bottom while the chalk powder will remain at the surface of the water itself. Black pepper seeds, papaya seeds are the adulterants used in the case of black pepper seeds. Also, add a few pepper seeds to alcohol. You can see papaya seeds will sink. Mustard seeds, take a few mustard seeds and crush them. Actual mustard seeds will have a yellow color inner area, whereas its adulterant argemone seeds are not yellow in its inner surface. The best steps to avoid food adulteration are to start cultivating ourselves. It is not very practical in our busy lives. However, I am listing a few measures which we can practice in order to safeguard our health from food adulterants. Always go for branded products, especially the ones with ISI mark, Indian Standard Institute in India. Still, if you doubt its quality, don't just keep quiet. File a complaint against the company or inform the company authorities about it. Only if the consumers start reacting, we can put an end to this solution. We can end this. We can put an end to this. Try to buy vegetables and fruits from organic markets or directly from the farmer. I'm not sure how far the so-called organic products are good, but you can at least be safe when you're directly buying it from the farmer. We all have limited space, but within the limited space, if we can cultivate few easily growing veggies, it can help us a lot. It is not only healthy, but saves us on the cost also. Balconies, courtyards, or terrace and should be selected for such purposes. Instead of buying ready-made masala powders, try to make it ourselves. You get to buy dried chili from the market, grind it rather than going behind packed powder. The products are marketed. That's how it was in the olden days. The products are marketed in a tricky manner, which is usually cheating the consumer. However, the FSSAI has made strong laws against adulteration. It is still not stopping the small vendors and businessmen to cheat customers. The annual public laboratory testing report for 2014-15 brought out by the Food Safety and Standards Authority of India, shortly FSSAI, says that of the 49,290 samples of food items, it tested 8,469. Nearly one-fifth were found adulterated or misbranded. Products banned in developed countries like palmolive oil affects the heart. Ajinomoto, also known as Chinese salt, weakens the muscles, and even banned medicines are sold in India legally. A list of most common food adulterants in India. Milk. A 2012 study conducted by the FSSAI across 33 states found that milk in India was adulterated with diluted water, detergents, fat, and even urea. Some of the adulterants that are used in milk are water, chalk, urea, caustic soda, and skim milk, while koya is adulterated with paper, refined oil, and skim milk powder. The level of adulteration in milk is dangerous to so many levels and has the highest chance of causing stomach disorders. Tea and coffee are the two most widely used beverages in India and thus highly adulterated. Tea leaves are usually adulterated with same colored leaves. Some might not even be edible. Several cases of liver infection across the country have been reported due to consuming adulterated tea. Coffee seeds, on the other hand, are adulterated with the tamarind seeds, mustard seeds, and also chicory. These adulterants are the main cause of diarrhea. Wheat and other food grains, everybody knows wheat or atta. Everybody knows that wheat is very commonly adulterated with ergot, a fungus containing poisonous substances and is extremely injurious to health. Vegetables, beware of the shiny vegetables. Yes, adulteration of vegetables is in use for quite some time. Now, different colored and textured vegetables are often colored with different dyes and substances. These vegetables are mostly adulterated with the malachite green, a chemical dye which is known to have carcinogen. Common adulterants in fruits and vegetables are oxytocin, saccharin, wax, calcium carbide, and other copper sulfate. Sweets. Do not get Indian sweets covered with a silver foil during Deepavali. Do you get? According to Indian regulations, silver must be 99.9% pure if it is used as a food ingredient. However, with silver becoming expensive, many sweet shop owners use silver wort that could contain aluminum. The most common ingredients in making these sweets are koya and chana, and they are often adulterated with starch. But the good news is that you can test if the sweets are adulterated by boiling a small sample in water, cool it, and then add a few drops of iodine solution. A blue color indicates the presence of starch. Also, sugar used in making these sweets may be adulterated with tar dye, which only makes it worse. Honey. There are so many varieties of honey available in the market, but due to its steep price, honey is commonly adulterated with the molasses sugar to increase the bottle quantity. According to a study carried out by the Center for Science and Environment, most honey brands being sold in the country, India, contain varying amounts of antibiotics, and the consumption over time could induce resistance to antibiotics, lead to blood-related disorders, and injury to the liver. Dal. The most commonly adulterated dal is agar dal, and is so usually adulterated with a metanyl yellow. Metanyl yellow is a principal non-permitted food color used extensively in India. The effect of long-term consumption of metanyl yellow on the developing and the adult brain causes neurotoxicity. Neurotoxicity occurs when the exposure to natural or artificial toxic substances alters the normal activity of the nervous system in such a way as to cause damage to the nervous tissue. Metanyl yellow is used in dal as an adulterant for coloring. Its presence can be tested in dal by adding a few drops of hydrochloric acid to a test sample. If the solution turns pink in color, it indicates the presence of metanyl yellow. Spices. Recently, a major Indian supplier was caught and had to destroy tons of turmeric for dangerous adulteration using metanyl yellow and red oxide of lead, the latter being highly carcinogenic. Soapstone or other earthy materials and foreign resins are a common adulterant used in asafoetida. Papaya seeds, blackberries are a common adulterant used in black pepper as they are almost similar in size but taste sometimes better. Red chili powder is adulterated with a brick powder, salt powder, or talc powder, and artificial colors like Sudan red. The most expensive spice in the world, saffron is adulterated by colored dried tendrils of maize cow. Butter and cream. Butter can be diluted with water or partially replaced with cheaper plant oils such as palm oil, sunflower oil, and soybean oil. This increases the profit derived from a given volume of milk. Ice cream. The most common adulterants in ice cream are pepperoni, ethyl acetate, butyraldehyde, ethyl acetate, nitrate, washing powder, etc. are not less than poison. Pepper oil is used as a pesticide, and ethyl acetate causes terrible disease affecting lungs, kidneys, and heart. Ice cream is manufactured in extremely cold chamber where fat is hardened and several harmful substances are added. Also, a kind of gummy is added which is sticky and slow melting. This gum is obtained by boiling animal parts like tail, nose, udder, etc. Food adulteration is a socio-economic problem mainly observed in developing nations on the world. It is reported that about 22% of foods are adulterated annually. Globally, around 57% of people have developed health problems due to consumption of adulterated and contaminated foods. Quality of different foods has been a great challenge in various countries in the world, including India. Currently, adulteration of milk is of major concern as around 80% of milk is found to be adulterated with many harmful chemicals in India. It is mentioned that in rural areas of India, about 8 to 13% milk is adulterated, whereas in cities, around 60 to 68% of milk is supplied is adulterated. These adulterants have harmful effects on the health of human beings. Adulteration of food not only constitutes a considerable economic problem, but also may lead to serious health issues for consumers. Adulteration of food is widely prevalent in many developing countries of the world, including India, China, Ethiopia, Mexico, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Vietnam, Indonesia, Afghanistan, Somalia, and others. The first author worked on UNDP assignment for several years in Ethiopia and found that wheat and barley were badly adulterated with the physical sub-objects such as cow dung, brick, wood pieces, bones, nails, thorns, wood coal, straw, weed, clay, pebbles, rodent excreta, bad droppings, etc. It is reported that around 22% of foods are annually adulterated in order to reduce amount of expensive product. Food can be adulterated intentionally or accidentally. Intentional food adulteration is generally done for monetary gain. It is pertinent to mention that extra virgin olive oil, a highly valued product of Italy, Greece, and Spain, is adulterated with cheaper type of oil such as peanut oil, palm oil, etc. In this context, stringent laws must be framed and implemented globally to punish the offenders who are deliberately doing this malpractice and playing the health of people. Food adulteration is a major threat which is regularly faced by everybody. Therefore, detection of adulteration of food is an essential requirement for ensuring the safety of foods consumed by people globally. The sophisticated laboratory techniques are available to check adulteration, but they are costly and time consuming. Hence, it is imperative to develop simple, rapid, sensitive, specific, low cost screening tests which can be widely employed by poor resource nations to detect commonly used adulterants in various types of foods for the safety of consumers. Presently, adulteration is very common, and the most frequently adulterated food product is milk. It has been noticed that some unscrupulous importers, producers, wholesalers, and retailers are deliberately involved in food adulteration to get more profit with less investment. It is unfortunate that vendors and businessmen cheat the consumers by selling adulterated food that is injurious to health. Raw vegetables and fruits are commonly adulterated with malachite, grain, wax, oxytocin, copper sulfate, saccharin, and calcium carbide. The milk in India is found adulterated with water, urea, detergent, and fat. Koya is adulterated with blotting paper, refined oil, and skimmed milk powder, and black pepper is adulterated with the papaya seeds. One study in India conducted in 2006 revealed that 64% of alcohol samples tested found positive for methanol content. Methanol is highly poisonous. It is pertinent to mention that consumption of 30 milliliters of methanol can be fatal. 70% of adulteration in oils and ghee from Chennai, India. It is noteworthy that adulteration of milk and unhygienic water can cause several diseases. The present communication is an attempt to describe the public health concern due to food adulteration. Several causes of adulteration in milk and other foods include tainted morale of the society, demand and supply gap, perishable nature of milk and dairy products, little purchasing power of the customer, spoiled socio-economic structure, unorganized condition of dairy industry and other food processing units, lack of strict and effective regulatory system, shortage of appropriate, rapid and definite tests. There are a number of adulterants such as water, starch, caustic soda, cane sugar, urea, chalk powder, sodium chloride, skim milk, fructose, formalin, ammonium sulfate, lead chromate, tamarind seeds, papaya seed, brick powder, fat, washing powder, argemone seed, hydrogen peroxide, methanol yellow, potassium sulfate, sawdust, stone powder, melamine, methanol, talc powder, maltodextrin, coal tar dye, saccharin, palm oil, fertilizer, Sudan red, ammonium chloride, boric acid, sawdust, cassia bark, etc. These are added in various types of foods. Of the adulterants in various foods is detrimental to human health. Some of the adulterants can result in life-threatening disease, especially in elderly children, pregnant women, and immune-compromised subjects. Food adulteration occurs globally and affects almost all food commodities like milk, ice cream, milk powder, condensed milk, paneer, kova, cheese, ghee, butter oil, rabri, wheat flour, besan, curry powder, pulses, black pepper, chili powder, tea, coffee powder, sugar, beverages, honey, mustard oil, turmeric oil powder, olive oil, wine, asafoetida, cereals, pulses, soft drinks, and others. Among these food commodities, milk is frequently adulterated, unsafe water that is injurious to health. The consumption of adulterated foods can lead to various illnesses like stomach disorder, heart problem, brain damage, paralysis, anemia, liver disorder, indigestion, nausea, vomiting, giddiness, diarrhea, dysentery, acidity, ulcer, autism, cancer, kidney malfunction, joint pain, asthma, metabolic dysfunctions, food poisoning, eyesight problems, skin disorders, etc. The polluted water acts as a vehicle for pathogens that cause diseases in susceptible persons. It is reported that unhygienic water is most commonly added in the milk and ingestion of water. Adulterated milk can result in many diseases of multiple etiologies that include viruses, bacteria, protozoa, and helminths. Some of the diseases carry high morbidity as well as mortality in both sexes and in all age groups. Food adulteration is a menace that has serious impact on the public health. Some of the adulterants are carcinogenic in nature. It is recommended that food manufacturers should sincerely implement measures to prevent the adulteration of food. It is very crucial to impart health education to the food producers and consumers about the harmful effects of different adulterants in foods. People are advised not to purchase loose milk and other food items from unauthorized sources. It is imperative that a regular quality control test must be conducted to assure adulterant-free food for human consumption. The Indian Penal Code IPC 1860 deals with the food adulteration, treating for adulteration of food and drinks as offences. This provision considers mixing of noxious ingredients in food or drinks as punishable. But mere adulteration with harmless ingredients with an eye or more profit is not punishable under it. Mixing milk with water is an example. Another provision which deals with the adulteration of food is Section 273 of the Indian Penal Code. The ingredients of this provision are three in number. Selling or offering for sale as food or drink, such article must have become nauseous or must be in a state unfit for food or drink. Sale or exposure must have been made with the knowledge or reasonable belief that the article was not nauseous as food or drink. This provision is comprehensive and includes an article of food which has gone bad by being kept too long. The food which never was at any time fit for consumption will also come under the purview of these provisions. Thus, what is punishable under the action is the sale of or exposure for sale of noxious articles of food or drink. An examination of the above provisions in the Indian Penal Code reveals that if a person sells inferior article of food at a cheap rate, it does not constitute an offense. Moreover, in order to find that a person is guilty, it should be proved that the act of adulteration was with the intention to sell the same as food or drink. It is malicious intentions. In order to remedy this lacuna, Indian Parliament passed an exclusive legislation dealing with food adulteration. For the prevention of food adulteration, PFA Act 1954 prohibits the manufacture, sale, and distribution of adulterated food materials. Chronologically, the legislations that have come up till date to prevent the adulteration of food. Until 1954, several states had their own food-related laws. In 1955, there was a central legislation to prevent food adulteration, Prevention of Food Adulteration Act 1955. Until 2006, there were so many laws existing. Fruits products order 1955, meat product order 1973, vegetable oil products control order 1947, edible oil packaging regulation order 1998, milk and milk products order 1992, Essential Commodities Act 1955. Finally, in 2006, in order to prevent confusion due to multiplicity of laws, Food Safety Standards Bill was passed. It came into force in 2011 and it governs all primary and processed foods. The FSSA, Food Safety Standards Act, is answer to many problems that previously existed, but the implementation part raises many speculations. Among the prominent features is the sanction part, which provides for fine as well as imprisonment. The point being, the evil of food adulteration being a socio-economic crime generates a lot of wealth, and therefore the perpetrator should be made to pay the fine, which he or she can or which he or she becomes liable. Thus, then the socio-economic crimes on one hand are considered to be harming the public to maximum extent, and on the other hand, they hardly carry the social stigma that is usually a feature in other forms of offense. Penalties will never solve the purpose. Stringent punishments to the extent of blacklisting the manufacturer or seller so that he or she cannot carry the business anymore. Food adulteration is a slow poison and it gives rise to serious health hazards. Therefore, laws to prevent food and dairy products should be made more stringent and strict. As with the increase in the food industry, the cases of food adulterations are also increasing. So food testing laboratories should be also be increased area-wise. So the number of tests should be increased in the people who believe in making profits out of adulterating food. As with the increase in the food industry, the cases of food adulteration are also increasing. So food testing laboratories should also be increased area-wise. So that the number of tests could be increased and the people who believe in making profits out of adulterating food will have fear in continuing this process in future. The definition of food expressly excludes animal feed from its purview. The fact is, whatever pesticides, insecticides, etc., gets into animals' feed and consumed by animal becomes a part of the food chain. Example, milk today, as there is a lack of proper training of procedures, both legal and scientific or technical, there has usually been problem taking the sample in the adequate manner and quality required for testing. For this purpose, Ministry of HRD can, Human Resource Development, can think over the role of universities which can, after looking at the seriousness of the affair, provide the courses on food testing. A separate ministry should look into the matter of food adulteration being a serious matter that affects the health of the citizens. Food adulteration is a very serious offense. Therefore, it should make the CEOs of the company liable, chief executive officers. Hawkers should be brought under the ambit of the FSSA as they do a major part of the commerce. The method of testing in their case should be made simple and non-technical. Food recall should be issued in the media to inform the citizens and make them aware about the unsafe food. There should be good high-tech laboratories in each district with modernized equipment. There does not appear to be any lasting solution to this vexed problem. Stringent punishment to prevent fraudsters in double quick time, if made the hallmark of the food safety regime, may see a significant decline in the food adulteration cases. A separate and dedicated fraud court system under the judiciary for fast-tracking such cases may also have a deterrent effect. It is a well-known fact that consumer protection does not exist in real life in developing and underdeveloped countries that includes India. Root cause being corruption, which is highly rampant in all walks of life. Laws, if not enforced strictly, are as good as not having any laws. Laws, if enforced strictly, will act as a deterrent to such perpetrators. Capital punishment, like in Arab countries, is what we need to implement for offenses like food adulteration, contamination. Corruption is the root cause of all evil in society. Debates, discussion on open-ended topics like this can go on forever. Anyway, let me pull the plug here. We'll meet again real soon with another interesting topic. Some of the statements views expressed are solely mine based on the limited knowledge gained over 6 decades of versatile experience. Always watch these videos with closed captions, subtitles for absolute 100% comprehension. As per my sincere recommendation, zillion times so far. I know I rushed through to complete the presentation within 20 minutes maximum. This time limit is self-imposed to retain the viewer's attention as a norm. I'm quite aware of the fact that I exceed this time limit. Sometimes I take double or even triple the time, depending on the topic, since I make honest attempts to cover the selected topic more elaborately, including so many intricate fine details referring a wide variety of sources, in particular Wikipedia, quite extensively, besides articles and books published recently. Besides, of course, I sprinkle my own salt and pepper and season it with my personal experiences so far in my life and also intuition. Stay at home as much as possible to maintain social distancing attributed to pandemic novel COVID-19 and prolong your lifespan. Lead a healthy life. God, also known as the Supreme Power, is the one and the only one who can put a stop to natural, unnatural, maybe bio war and cyber war events like pandemics and epidemics, which ultimately paves the way for apocalypse and extinction of all sentient species on Earth for no fault of theirs. Rest in peace and harmony.